I want you to write down a few things that describe you. Don't write down the things you think they'd want to hear, because you might do better doing the opposite of that. I'm a caring person. My clients come for... That's what everybody is going to say. Write down some things about you. What would you like people to know about you? It may be that you're a certain ethnicity, or you're from a certain town, or you've been through a divorce, or your parents live with you and you're taking care of them because they've been sick, and different things like that, because your challenges will help them to relate to their challenges. But what words would describe you first? And that will roll into dog whistle topics. Tell me some stuff about you. So write down your dog whistle. You guys know what a dog whistle is. When you blow it, only that dog hears it. I did a conference 20 years ago, and I told the story about my grandpa and when he got sick and what that did for me and some of the things he told me. I told the story about when my home got foreclosed on. I told the story about in the office tour. How many of you remember we used to do caravan tours of the new listings? During the office tour, we're walking outside and they're repossessing my car, putting it up on the flatbed. All the agents are like, Greg, somebody's taking your car. Yeah, the starter's bad. I had to have it towed. Like, I'm making up all kind of BS because they were repoing my car. So I told all this during the conference. And at the end of the conference, everybody comes rushing up to the stage to talk to me. And the one's like, man, when you told me that story about your grandpa, I just knew I wanted to work with you. And I signed up for your coaching here because I know you're the one for me and I can relate with you. Hey, thanks so much. I'm excited to help you. He leaves. The next one comes up. Hey, when you told me about your house being foreclosed on, I knew this was for me. Like, you understand me. I signed up for your coaching. I want to work with you. The next one. Hey, when you said that your car was repoed or your house was repoed or whatever, they hear what they want to hear. You guys agree? What dog whistle copy, what different things can you do? If I talk about horses, I get people in horses. If I talk about my dog, I get people in dogs. If I talk about I kicked my kid out at 18 years old, I get all kinds of people that either did or want to, right? They have that whole failure to launch thing going on. So people will relate with you based on all of those. If you relocated to another state and this is new and you didn't know any clients or friends. Question?
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm.
It's better if it's things that weren't good, but we feel vulnerable by saying so. I'm not saying you have to talk about anything. A lot of us I'm private, I don't want to talk about my personal life, whatever, and that's fine. You don't have to disclose any more than you want to, but the more you disclose it, the better you're going to do because they'll relate with you. Because you guys have seen it online. The more vulnerable you are, the more viral you go. This lady talked about the emotional stress she had after her divorce. Now, it has 7 million views because other people have that, and they're like, oh my God, thank you for being so strong and relating with me.
So if, for example, I got my employees embezzled over $1.5 million, I haven't shared that. They always thought that maybe I could put something out there to help others so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I have not shared that with clients, except for the clients that know me.
Yeah, it's called your origin story. What you guys want to do is called your origin story. How did you get to where you're at? There's no superhero in the world that anybody knows of that fails at the end. They always failed at the beginning. So you have to decide what chapter you're on. Like, you might be that superhero in the making, but you got to have the freaking superhero story. Nobody cares about a superhero that came from a rich guy. They only care if you came from poverty, if you came from stress, if you came from abuse, if you came from Oprah Winfrey. Right? Anybody that came from that, from Eminem, any of them. They want you to have come from struggles. Nobody does well, most generally, they don't do well if they came up and had an easy life because they're in their head and they make a lot of excuses for themselves. So I want you to think about, what is your origin story? What are some of the bad things that you turned into positives? How many of you have been through a bad emotional breakup, either a relationship or an actual marriage, and you thought your life was freaking over, and a year or two later you're like, that's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, right? Like, you really thought your world was ended. Or worse, a couple years before, you wasted 2 years of your life trying to stay with that person and make it work. I'm going to change them, right? I know that leopard has spots, but if I wash that leopard enough, it won't have spots on it anymore. He said he's going to change. Right? But if you show that story, that is part of your brand, because all of those people relate with you for that. It's the reason I still do back and forth from Columbus to Florida, from Ohio and Florida. People in Florida relate with me there. People in Ohio relate with me here. There's a big difference between someone in the Midwest. Everybody always says I have a redneck accent. I am 1 hour from Canada, and I'm from the South, apparently. I don't know why that is, but that's the way it's worked out. But all of those are dog whistle copy. Love it or hate it, right? And that's the reason I don't care on the political parties or the religious beliefs or whatever. I'll talk about anything I want. I don't care if you like me or hate me, because it's fine if you hate me. There's going to be a whole lot of them that do. But if I can get those that like me to like me more, I win. Hey, it's Greg Luther. And listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you're never going to see me again. I consistently put out regular content, and it's extremely helpful for real estate agents to grow their business. I want to keep you up to date on what's working so that you're in the know and you can take action accordingly. So be sure that you like and comment here, but most importantly, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on anything. I'm here to help you in growing your business, and I'd love to do so. Follow right now.